Friston Forest in the heart of East Sussex. Dr. Tony Whitbread of the Sussex Wildlife Trust tells us about how the Trust work in partnership here with the Forestry Commission.
Friston Forest is a classic example of a partnership project in action. It's actually owned by South East Water, who own this area of land in order to protect water resources which lie underneath this important area of the South Downs. But the Forestry Commission has a lease over the area of land. It's had a lease for a very long time. It planted up the area many years ago, and what's happened since then, in the last few years, the Sussex Wildlife Trust has built up its own lease with the Forestry Commission in order to carry out a conservation grazing project on the area. What we've done here is work with the Forestry Commission to actually create a diversity of habitats, all sorts of habitats in one small area. So we have very rich woodland rides where grazing takes place. We have the woodlands themselves, and the well-managed woodland area. We have shrubby edges where the shrubs move into the woodlands. And we also have chalk heath, a very rare habitat, all being maintained in close proximity in this one small area. So it's a rich habitat with lots of diversity within it. We're right next door to Seven Sisters Country Park, which is the classic view of the chalk cliffs of Sussex. And right next door, here we are in Friston Forest. So it's a very well-known area, very well visited, with the public coming through all the time. Many footpaths, cycle routes all the way through it. But from the Sussex Wildlife Trust perspective, we run a lot of events, courses, education programmes here. We run a very active programme of forest schools, for example. The chance of getting kids involved in their local environment, and actually building that reconnection between people and wildlife. So there's a lot going on here, there's a lot in the mix. It's got everything here. So we've got timber production, we have education with the forest schools, we have enjoyment and a lot of activity and access, and all this is against the background of really sound environmental management of Friston Forest. So Friston Forest is a really good example of what can happen, but we have Forestry Commission land all over the county and actually all over the country. Places like Chiddingfold Forest, St Leonard's Forest, Tilgate Forest. We should be able to have really good partnership projects in all of those places. Over the years, the Forestry Commission has delivered a huge amount for the environment, but it's actually a relatively small organisation. What we really need is a Forestry Commission with the remit, with the responsibility, and particularly the resources to be able to reproduce this sort of project throughout Sussex and actually throughout the whole of the country. Last year there was a public outcry when the government threatened to dispose of the public forest estate, the land managed by the Forestry Commission. Now, as a result of that, as a response to that, the government set up an independent panel to look at forestry in the UK, to actually look at policy again. Now, what we hope is that the government will look carefully at that panel report and see how it can develop a stronger Forestry Commission with an enhanced remit to deliver a wider range of public benefits into the future. So, an enhanced Forestry Commission with a strengthened remit based on excellence in environmental management. That's what we want the government to deliver.